Lucky Boys Podcast.
You mentioned something about getting shot.
Yes.
5 times. What happened?
Well, I took on the Gottis and Gambinos back in the 90s when John Gotti Sr. was on trial for the last time. And he ended up doing triple life without parole because he had Memorex tapes of conversations he had with the rat who ate the Parmesan cheese. Remember Sammy the Bull Gravano? That was it. Gotti was away. But I was disparaging him on the radio at WABC. I had a segment called Mob Talk. People were saying, no, you can't talk about the mob. Howard Stern wouldn't talk about the mob. Don Imus. No broadcasters would because they feared for their life. And they even used me as an example now. So you see what happened to Curtis? They first attacked him with baseball bats. They broke his wrist. He went back to broadcasting. And then I got shot 5 times with hollow point bullets in a moving yellow cab in the Lower East Side. And luckily I was able to jump out and avoid being turned into, well, let's just say the intended plan that came out in federal trial was they would take me to a chop shop in Brooklyn, East New York, and put me in a chemical vat and incinerate whatever was remaining of me.
Holy shit.
Yep.
And that didn't scare you? Stop you?
And I grew up with these gavones, these jadruls, these knuckle draggers. The moment that I have to fear, then I got to hang this beret and this red jacket up, and give it up. Maybe go down to Boca Raton, retire to the 6th borough of the city of New York and Florida. But I will not surrender. I will not retreat.
They didn't try to go after you and finish the job?
They twice. Remember, first they came at me with baseball bats. I continued to broadcast against the Gottis and Gambinos. And then they decided to terminate that. Make sure I never was broadcasting again. And just by sheer luck, I was able to avoid being chemically incinerated after being shot so many times.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and John Gotti Jr., he arranged it for his father. He's still out there in Oyster Bay Cove living the life of Riley. But, you know, hey, they tried it once, they tried it twice. Come a third time, right? See if you can take out Curtis Sliwa.
Oh, come on, Curtis.
No, hey, that's the way I operate. You threaten me, I step to you. I never back off. This summer, right, June 1st, June 2nd, remember? Rioting led to looting. Yeah. You saw them invade like locusts to a cornfield.
There was like 100 plus mobs, a mob of 100 plus, right?
And you guys were running towards it.
Right. The cops were told to stand back. The only one who confronted the rioters and the looters were the Guardian Angels. I got a broken jaw. But our philosophy is first they come for the property because they think it has insurance. And then they come for the product because they think it has insurance. But you know they ultimately always come for the people. And if you don't stop them when they come for the property and the product, they're going to come for the people. And now, look, we have looting taking place in the middle of the day. Gun thugs come in, put guns to everybody's heads, and loot out a store in Soho in the middle of the day. Everything on camera. And they get away with it.
Curtis, what is it that keeps you going? I mean, after all these years, you still have this fire.
It's the fire and energy.
It's stronger than ever.
Well, I think it's the way I was brought up. My father was a merchant seaman for 55 years. The neighborhood I grew up in, Canarsie, where I had to deal with these thugs in the Italian-American community, you know, the wannabes. And I always recognized that if you show fear, you will be consumed with fear. And I'm used to operating in the streets, not as much in the suites. So people will say, well, that's a disadvantage for you being mayor. Or there are other people who are very adept at dealing with the suites. But I have a feel for the streets. And if you show any kind of fear, you're dead on arrival. It's Darwinian, survival of the fittest. And they have to be able to feel from you. You're exuding a feeling that, oh, you want to go for it? Go for it now. And they'll develop, you see, it's hard to explain. But they'll develop a begrudging respect for you. So now when I walk through the meanest, toughest streets of New York City into the belly of the beast, the guys who don't like me will say, yeah, but that's a legend. That guy's a legend. Now, they built me up bigger than what I am. But if they want to think I'm a legend and not a legend into my own mind, hey, that's great. I'll take it. He said, you got to keep it real. And I've been keeping it real for 42 years. And that's why I'm going to become the mayor, and I am going to teach people how to take care of themselves so they're less dependent on government. So when I mess up or I don't deliver on what I promise, they won't be as pissed off because they'll realize, yeah. He's not a god. He's not perfect. Like all other human beings, we're imperfect. We make mistakes. You just have to be willing to acknowledge it and then learn from it and then move on to try to correct it.
What's your website?
CurtisSliwa4Mayor.com. That's CurtisSliwa4Mayor.com.
Curtis, thank you for coming by. This is Lucky Boys, and we are out.